I've learned that it's more important now than at any other point. It just reinforced my faith and understanding that you can do your very best, and you have to do what you can do for the world and for yourself. And yet you can't drive yourself crazy worrying about things that you cannot control. And so I've definitely, leaned on prayer and praying for peace in general, because there's so much chaos, so much turbulence and chaos going on in the world. I woke up this morning, you see that there was an earthquake in Japan and they're looking at a tsunami. And then on top of that, the war. And then on top of that, COVID is still popping. It's enough to drive you insane if you let it. So you really have to find your peace. The series of the book, the author, he said, they actually asked him about that. And he said, you can't expect to keep everything the same when you change from one medium to another. And so changing from the written page to a television series, that's why he, basically adapted his book himself for a 6-part television. I think that what people are gonna, I think a couple surprises that people have is, one, they will have never seen Samuel L. Jackson like this. And as big of a presence and as brash and profane as he is, this performance is about him being vulnerable, him showing another side of humanity, and a side that in a certain way is needy and is frustrated and that is alone, but just really, really vulnerable. And with that, I think that what people are going to see is they're going to recognize a lot of the stuff that they've been in and had to deal with in their own life situations and whatnot. They aren't the only ones dealing with it, because a lot of people have had to either live with or take care of or been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or some version of dementia themselves. And it's not the kind of thing that just the person who gets diagnosed has to live with. The person who gets diagnosed has to suffer through it in a certain way, and everybody in their orbit has to suffer through it as well. So I think that there's going to be a lot of comfort and catharsis that comes for people who watch the show. Reggie is Ptolemy's nephew. He's the only one left in the family that still checks on him. And Ptolemy has outlived his peer group. He's outlived all of his siblings and whatnot. And now he's turned into a bit of a shut-in with his illness. Reggie still checks on him and he cares about him. And he's just trying to do what's best by his uncle while juggling and maintaining his own life and his own family. And what you get to see is the characters interact and in a very kind and familial way. And it's a great portrayal. I'm very hard on the material that I'm in, and I actually like how it turned out. And it's a great portrayal of intergenerational interactions and, how the culture is. And it's a strong moment that you don't see often portrayed on television and film between two adult Black men caring for one another, each in their own version of a vulnerable state. It was great. He's super generous, and he is an expert at his craft. He knows how to act. If he doesn't know how to do anything else in his life, he knows how to act. And that makes it a lot easier for you so that you guys can work together on telling the story, scene by scene. And for this, it was his passion project because his mother and his aunt, I think his grandfather as well, all had dementia and I think Alzheimer's specifically. And so the stakes were high. He really cared. And this is something that he really wanted to get right. And it took him 10 years to get it to the screen. It's really, it's crazy to think that somebody of his status will have a hard time getting a story to the screen. And yet here we are. And I'm just happy that Apple TV decided to make it. It's awesome. So I'm doing the voice of Raphael on the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have a film coming out on Netflix later on this year, so the kids are going to have a great time. We made it during the pandemic. I'm really impressed. I got to see some of it the other day, and man, the animation is crazy. It's just wild. And I grew up watching the original Ninja Turtles, so for me, it's an honor to be involved So we have that, and then with the Rugrats, I got involved, and I play one of the parents on the Rugrats, and it's streaming now on Paramount Plus. Yeah, well, we do the Ozone podcast. We're on hiatus now, but we're coming back soon. It's my brother and I, and it's our take on sports and everything opinion, so that we are the intersection of where sports and life meet up with the culture, and we shoot it straight. We are totally unfair and totally partial. And we have guests from all walks of life to come on and speak about their experience and how sports ties into the greater, fabric of society. Page, you can catch it visually on our YouTube page, but you can listen to it. It's everywhere.